So question 9 says Beech Grove High School has 1,200 pupils in total. 45% of the pupils are girls. Work out the number of girls in the school. So we do 45% of 1,200. Now that just means 1,200 divided by 100, which is 12, and then 12 times 45, which is 540. So that means we have 540 girls in this school. There are 240 pupils in year 12. What percentage of the pupils in the school are year 12? So what we've got is 240 pupils out of 1,200 pupils in the school are year 12. And to change this fraction into a percentage, we just times it by 100. So if we go through the mechanics of it, it's got 100. We can actually times 100 with 240 there, which then gives us 24,000. And then we can do 24,000 divided by 1,200. So in this one, you can see we're dividing by 100 on this one, so we're on top and bottom, so we kind of take those zeros off here. And what we're left with is 240 divided by 12. And you can write it like this. And so you should have an answer of 20%. So for question 10, it says students in the class were asked how many text messages they sent in a particular week. So that's the number of text messages and number of students who sent those text messages. A student was taken at random from the class. What is the probability this student is sent more than 59 messages? So if we look at more than 59 messages, it's above this point here. So that's 8 and 3. So what we have here is 11, if we add them up, and it's out of 28. 28 is when you add the total up of how many students there were. So a student was taken at random from those who were sent less than 60 messages. So what we've got here is what is the probability this student is sent 40 to 59 messages. So from this point on, this is this first question. So it says a student was taken at random from those who sent less than 60 messages. So this is where the student was taken at random from. And what is the probability student sent 40 to 59 messages? It is 13 out of 17. So 13 is there and it's 17 in total for this section. So for question 11, this is a binary question. So it says, what is the main difference between the binary number system and the decimal number system? And we can see binary system uses only two symbols, which is just the ones and zeros. So for question B, it says write the binary number 111111 as a decimal number. So the way we will look at this is we can write down the all these ones here. And then above them, we start with 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 2s are 8. 8 2s are 16. And 16 times 2 is 32. Because these are all ones, each of these has a value, so we just add everything there. So it's 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. And if you add them all up, it should be 63. So the next question says write the decimal number 87 as a binary number. So for what you would start off with is writing these numbers down first. So you do 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 2s are 8, 8 2 is 16, 16 times 2 is 32, and 32 times 2 is 64. Don't go any further than that because it'll go over 87 after that. So we put 1 in the top part of it, or 64, and then we find out what's left out of those 64. And you can see what's left is we can split it up. We can know that if we add 16 and add 4 and add 2 and add 1, all of them would add up to 87. And what you do is you just put these zeros in where they're not needed. So that's basically your binary number is 10101111. So for question 12, it says simplify. W to the power of 3 times W to the power of 2. So when you're multiplying like this, you add your indices. So it should be W to the power of 5. For question 12a2, it's Y to the power of 6 divided by Y to the power of 2. So because it's division, then we take away our indices. So 6 take away 2 is 4. So Y to the power of 4. Then it says work out the nth term of the sequence, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. You can see we can find the differences as we keep adding 7s all the time. So we then have 7n, and then we look at the previous number, which would have been 0. So we don't normally show the 0 on this one, so that it would be just 7n for the nth term of this one. That just means it's just a 7 times table. On question 13, Toby walks his dog in a field ABCD so that he is always more than 40 metres from A. So you can take one thing at a time. This one thing is more than 40 metres from A. So because it's from a point, we can use a compass for this one. So if we use the compass, we can measure the compass. It says 40 metres, but we should have a scale there, which the scale says 1 centimetre equals 10 metres. So we can measure this compass 4 centimetres. Once we've done that, we can actually draw an arc. So that means anything above this arc here is more than 40 metres away. Okay, so that's that one done. That's that ticked off. So then when it says nearer to A than B, so A's here and B's there. So we're using a perpendicular bisector for this one. So for a perpendicular bisector, we get a compass and we put it on the point A, and we draw an arc for this over halfway from this one. So just make sure that the compass is over halfway of the line, and we draw an arc. We take the compass and we put it onto the end of B, and we draw an arc there. So we make sure that those two lines cross. So where they cross is where you put a ruler, and you would join this up here. So where they cross, you would just keep going along that way. So that's your perpendicular bisector for that. So that means everything on this side is nearer A, everything on this side is nearer B. So this one says nearer to DA than DC. Oh, sorry, to nearer to A than B. So it's this side we're looking at here. For the next one, it says nearer to DA than DC. You can see this one is a line here, and they're both like make a right angle. So we have to get an angle bisector for this one. So if we bring the compass here and put it to D, now it doesn't matter how far open you have this compass, but what you do is you draw an arc here and make sure you cross those lines. Then you would take this and put it where you cross the line there, and you would draw an arc here. Then you would take the compass and put it on this bit here, and you would draw an arc there. And make sure those two arcs cross one another. So what we've got here is we can make sure that we start from D and draw a straight line through this bit where it's crossed and straight on. Now we can look at, it says shade the area where Toby walks his dog. So basically the area that we've shaped is more than 40 metres from A, nearer to A than B, and also nearer to DA than DC. So it's this one here that gets shaded. So for question 14, it's a quadratic curve here. And they've given you all the points. So all you need to do is just plot the points that you have. So minus 2, 11. So it's you start with 0 and it's 2 to the left and 11 up. Then it's minus 1, 5. So we start at 0, minus 1. So that's 1 to the left and 5 up. Then we've got 0, 1, so it's straight up to 1. Then it's 1 minus 1, 1 to the right and 1 down. And all you do is just keep going like that until you get your points, and then you would draw a curve there. Do not join the dots, but just draw a freehand curve on this one. So it says use your graph to estimate the values of x for which y is equal to 3. So we have to draw the line y equals 3. So we go onto the y-axis and we look for 3, and 3's there, and all we do is just draw a straight line across. And the answers we should get is basically where they cross one another, cross at 2 points on this curve, and we find where the x coordinate would be, or on the x-axis. So if we look down, we can see it's between 0 and minus 1, and we look down, you can see it's between 3 and 4. So when you read the graph, it will probably tell you that one is minus 0.6 and one is 3.6.